Making it big in Hollywood sounds like a dream for a lot of kids, but the industry can wind up being a nightmare for many, and these former child stars aren't afraid to talk about it. Many viewers know Brooke Shields for her various TV roles from the 90s onward, but early on in her career, she was notable as a child actor who took on a series of highly sexualized roles. Most notably, the characters she played in Pretty Baby, The Blue Lagoon, and Endless Love.
What am I bid, gentlemen? Don't we get a look before we buy?
Speaking about her career at a 2024 South by Southwest panel in honor of International Women's Day, Shields opened up about her experiences as a child star who was cast in several inappropriate roles. She credited her mother and the people around her with keeping her safe from predators, saying, "There was this sexualization of young women and I was at the center of it. I was surrounded by a strong mom, had a community around me. I did not become the type of statistic that Hollywood created." She argued that, quote, "Hollywood is predicated on eating its young," and affirmed her passion for making the industry a more inclusive place for women over 40, telling attendees, "We're not just wrinkle cream. We need to change the narrative and say that there is beauty in this age." After taking the world by storm in the 90s with her child roles in Matilda, A Simple Wish, Miracle on 34th Street, and Mrs. Doubtfire, Mara Wilson stepped away from film acting. She focused intermittently on stage work while joining the ranks of child stars who wound up with normal jobs as grown-ups. In the 2010s, she reinvented herself as a writer and social commentator. And her 2013 article for Cracked, titled 7 Reasons Child Stars Go Crazy, An Insider's Perspective, became notable for the honesty with which it exposed the many difficulties of dealing with child stardom. According to Wilson, although she started acting of her own volition at age 5, not all kids in the profession are so lucky, with many being pressured into it by their parents and becoming primary breadwinners for their households. Wilson added that celebrity kids are especially vulnerable to predators and to sexual objectification beyond their parents' control. Wilson advised up-and-coming young stars to think seriously about whether they really want to be actors, and to trust their own ability to reinvent themselves career-wise. She wrote, "Make sure it's really your choice. Get out of it when it stops being fun, and get an education."
I want to be in school.
Todd Bridges, who became known in the 70s and 80s for the role of Willis Jackson on Different Strokes, revealed on the Oprah Winfrey Show in 2010 that he was a victim of sexual abuse at age 11, perpetrated by his own publicist. A few years later, he went on CNN to advocate for a California bill that would make background checks mandatory for some film and TV professions, particularly jobs that gave people close access to child stars. Speaking in support of the bill, Bridges noted that the abuse he suffered was facilitated by the entertainment industry. He told viewers, "We have to make people realize that children need to be safe on these sets, and they're not safe."
Because parents want their kids to be in show business so bad that they're willing to do anything, and they'll send them off with strange people.
The bill in question, AB 1660, received support from the Screen Actors Guild and was ultimately signed into law by then-Governor Jerry Brown in late 2012. Drew Barrymore is one of the most popular and widely beloved American actors of her generation. There was a point in time, though, in which she was known as Hollywood's foremost teenage rebel. A highly in-demand actor since her early childhood, she grew up in the spotlight and had a notoriously turbulent adolescence as a result. In her 2015 memoir, Wildflower, she wrote, "I was out of control due to working since I was 11 months old and what that had done to my childhood, which made me grow up too fast."
Can you remember a time when you were not somewhere on a set?
To be quite honest, no.
Due to her struggles, Barrymore became wary of letting her own kids face the kind of overexposure she did. In a 2024 interview with People magazine, she said, "My kids would love to be in film or on social media or sing, and I always just say, school plays, theater, camp, everything, yes. But no to being out there in the public eye until I think you're ready." Even so, she stated that she didn't feel the movie business in itself was inherently toxic, saying, "It has given me every opportunity under the sun, and I couldn't appreciate my life more." Nickelodeon's iCarly was proof enough of Jennette McCurdy's immense talent and ample comedic skill. But in 2022, following years of retirement from acting, McCurdy showed she also had the goods as a writer by publishing her critically acclaimed memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died, in which she discussed her struggles with child stardom through the lens of her fraught relationship with her late mother. McCurdy was never the same after iCarly, and she explains why in her book. She reveals that she took up acting to fulfill her mother's dreams, that being a teen celebrity pushed her into anxiety and eating disorders, and that the work environment at Nickelodeon was often grueling, vexing, and detrimental to her development. She says that she endured it all because her mother claimed it was the price of success.
You're playing an adult's game. You're in an adult's world.
Following her exit, Nickelodeon reportedly offered her $300,000 in exchange for never discussing her experiences at the network, which she turned down. She told the New York Times in 2022 that she never watches the shows she was on, adding, "My whole childhood and adolescence were very exploited. I want my life to be in my hands, not in eating disorders or a casting director's or an agent's or my mom's. Mine." As teen star to adult artist transitions go, Miley Cyrus is one of the big success stories of our era. She's so consolidated now as a beloved, versatile, dazzlingly talented recording artist that it's sometimes hard to remember that she used to be the star of Disney's Hannah Montana. She loved being on the show at that time, Cyrus told CBS Sunday Morning. But looking back, she can see how all that pressure was problematic. She said on the show, "I think now that I'm older now, I realize that's a lot to put on a kid." Cyrus has also said that the media scrutiny she received for the controversies of her rebellious era made her feel guilty and ashamed for years. She told British Vogue, "Now that I'm an adult, I realize how harshly I was judged." She has also opened up about developing body image issues while playing Hannah Montana, telling Marie Claire, "I was made to look like someone that I wasn't," which probably caused some body dysmorphia because I had been made pretty every day for so long. And then when I wasn't on that show, it was like, who the f am I? Does this mean that she's done with Hollywood for good? Not necessarily. Cyrus would return to acting on one condition. She told W Magazine, "The role would really need to be right, since it's kind of hard for people to see past me and buy into a character." Before headlining Peter Jackson's The Lord of the Rings trilogy as Frodo Baggins and becoming a worldwide movie star, Elijah Wood was prolific as a child actor in 90s films like North, Avalon, The Good Son, and Flipper.
Hey, what are you doing here?
In 2016, the actor discussed the subject of predatory behavior in Hollywood during an interview with The Times. Wood said, "There are a lot of vipers in this industry. People who only have their own interests in mind. People with parasitic interests will see you as their prey." Although he made a point of saying that his mother kept him safe as a child, many interpreted his comments as Wood speaking from personal experience. He then took to X to clarify that his indignation stemmed from a documentary he'd watched. He wrote, "Let me be clear. This subject of child abuse is an important one that should be discussed and properly investigated. But as I made absolutely clear to the writer, I have no first-hand experience or observation of the topic, so I cannot speak with any authority beyond articles I've read and films I've seen." With her role as the clairvoyant Raven Baxter on That's So Raven, Raven-Symoné became one of the biggest Disney Channel stars ever. And in the years since that show ended, she hasn't kept mum about the downside of being a Disney teen celebrity. Speaking to Yahoo Entertainment in 2020, Raven-Symoné, who is a lesbian, recalled being called a liability by an industry higher-up at the age of 15. She said that she was encouraged to hide her personal life and pressured to, quote, "stay in a little box to make sure that everybody else is making their money." She went on, "This industry, as long as I've been in it, will break you down, build you up, break you down, build you up. I'm so over it. I sit in that anger for this industry because it's been so many different things." Raven-Symoné realized years later through therapy how much trauma the industry had burdened her with, though she believes things are different now. She said, "There's so many people out here opening the doorways to so many subcultures, you know. Whether it's size, whether it's sexuality, whether it's gender identity. That's the acceptance that I was waiting for when I was a kid." Being a kid in the early 2000s meant watching movies starring Frankie Muniz. The actor became recognizable worldwide for his roles in films like My Dog Skip and Big Fat Liar, as well as Agent Cody Banks and its sequel. He also wrote his name in the TV history books by playing the titular character on the hit sitcom Malcolm in the Middle for 7 seasons. Muniz stepped away from his acting career to become an auto racer. He currently competes in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Muniz has spoken critically about the movie world.
"I would never let my kid go into the business."
Although he noted that his own experience in the industry was positive, he said he knows of many who had much worse experiences than he did.
I know so many people, friends that were close to me, that had such insanely negative experiences.
Corey Feldman is one of the most recognizable child stars of 1980s cinema, with major roles in films like The Goonies, Stand By Me, Gremlins, and The Lost Boys. In recent years, he has become notable for speaking up about the sexual abuse he suffered in Hollywood alongside lifelong friend and regular collaborator Corey Haim, who died in 2010. Feldman told The Guardian in 2020, "The biggest problem in Hollywood is pedophilia."
I believe there's a lot of darkness in Hollywood right now.
In the documentary My Truth, The Rape of Two Coreys, Feldman alleges that former talent manager Marty Weiss, actor John Grissom, and nightclub owner Alfie Hoffman are among Hollywood's abusers. He also said that Haim had confided in him that Charlie Sheen sexually abused him on the set of their film Lucas. Sheen denied the allegations, calling them, quote, sick, twisted, and outlandish, in a statement given to Entertainment Weekly. Feldman has also opened up about the pressure placed on him by his mother, who reportedly made him take diet pills because she thought it would help him land roles. Asked by The Guardian if he'd let his son Zen join the film business, he responded with an emphatic hell no. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, help is available. Call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org.